bring us on. There we go. We'll welcome everybody to Tomato Talk, top of mind, advancing through opportunities. Finding those opportunities for us to go and make our headway through. What do we got? I was looking for a new book over here. Don't have a new book. We're going to stick with the old one that we got. Oh, maybe it's this one. There we go. There's a book in today. We're going to get this thing started. Oh, as we speak. I don't know if you saw that one or not, but so be it. All right, here we go. Let's remove that. Let's turn the camera on a little bit more this way. There we go. We're adding a few more of those panels to our set, as they say. Let's drop the rock music. Let's go over to comments. There we go. We got Facebook going. We got that going. We're on StreamYard. We're ready to go. And where are we? 3 feet from gold. Greg Reed, that guy. And Sharon Lecter have co-written that book, and that was part of the whole Think and Grow Rich crowd, the Napoleon Hill team. Yes, that's it. This is the book. And yeah, paperback form, a little dog ear, the rest of that. And it's actually the original, not original, but anyway, it's the original version of Think and Grow Rich. And it's kind of fascinating if you look through that. And yeah, we're going to talk about being all in on something. It's whatever. We've been talking about distraction, stuff like that. We've been talking about a lot of things. Let me tell you, been looking in the mirror, a lot of these things. It's like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Are we growing? That's something. It's not a lot, but it's something. And then I got this poster board over here. I'll get a little bit more about that. But so much comes down to this. Not the grow rich part. It's the think. It's the attitude of the whole thing. What is the attitude of the whole thing? I'm going to try. There's no do and try, as our little green friend said. And I got him around here someplace, Yoda, of course. There's a franchise that keeps on going. But really is that. It's like you can't just think, or you can't just try to do something. It's like you got to be all in. You got to trust the force. We'll use that one too. Watch, I'm going to get hit with copyright issues on this thing. Oh, those folks over in YouTube land, they follow so much of this stuff. How they pick up on it beats the heck out of me. Even the music. I ran into a problem with the music that I used from StreamYard. Somebody was blocking that someplace from a copyright standpoint. So don't know. I don't know about that. But it's that attitude of doing. What am I going to do? Am I going to work through whatever that issue is, whatever that problem is, right? I gave a speech in Toastmasters once about, what are problems? They're speed bumps. Really? They're speed bumps for the most part. Most of our problems start off as little speed bumps. But then what do we do with that? Do we crush them? Do we just bash right on through that speed bump, plow it down, knock it down like it was not there? Or do we sit and think and strategize? Then all of a sudden that little speed bump gets, I'm going to use the book on that one, but whatever, that speed bump gets bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden we make a mountain out of a molehill. It's another one of those crazy comments that like, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there really is something to it. Like, look, if you got something that comes up, I mean, some of this stuff is I don't know. We make it bigger than what it is, right? Well, I'm trying to come up with an example over here about what to use in that respect. We use yesterday's run, right? Yesterday's run. I went for a run yesterday. Okay. For those that don't live in the New York area, everybody's got their own weather issues and stuff like that. Now, I'll explain how this goes, but it rained. Boy, oh boy, did it rain. But it's like, okay. I've been going for a run. I've been doing a 2-mile run each and every day now for the past 2 weeks or so, roughly 2 weeks. Big run? No, it's not a big run. The rest of it, I just want to do it. I want to keep that pattern going. And then it was like, okay, so it's raining. It's supposed to rain. It's drizzling. It's stopped or whatever. Do I go? All right. So what's the speed bump in here? The speed bump is if I go for a run and it rains, I get wet. It's like, I don't know if I want to get wet. If I get wet and then my sneakers get heavy, then it's a little harder to do. Again, it's only a 2 mile run here. A little harder to do. But what if I slip? If I slip and I hurt myself, and then, well, then that wouldn't be good. I don't want to sprain anything, right? I'm just doing 2 miles. I just want to stay consistently as healthy as I possibly can. Just keep that body moving and do something else. Like, well, but what if? What if I have all these what ifs that got tossed into the equation? Hey, Doug, good afternoon. But all these what ifs got tossed into the equation. It became massive. It's like, well, oh my gosh, it could be so many things going wrong because I go for a 2 mile run, 15 minutes or so, a little longer. Let's go 20 minutes. Yesterday was definitely 20 minutes. I definitely ran slow. I couldn't see. It came down so hard. I just couldn't see. The water was just pouring down, absolutely pouring down. But if you equate that to other things, it's like, are we making it so much harder than what it really is? And I think the more we think about things, the more that actually happens. How do you do a podcast? Turn on the camera and do it. Well, what if I suck? You delete it if it's that bad. All right. Well, what if you do okay? What if you find that people enjoy listening to you? What if you need to improve upon it? You improve upon it. What if it takes forever? So what? So what? If that's your primary source of income, all right, maybe there's a little bit more of a so what that goes along with it. And then you got to get more of the resources together beforehand and things like that. If you're an expert in something and you need to be seen as an expert in something, you don't just turn on the camera. You get the resources you need in place for people to see it, do it, work with you on it, make sure that your hair is straight, your tie is proper, your dress is appropriate. You're not wearing uh, jewelry that jingles, that makes a lot of noise because it interferes with the camera. You're not saying and ah too many times. So all those other filler words. Don't want to do that. So how do you get through all of that? It's pretty darn easy. You walk into a studio. We'll use Donna's studio here, Drake Media Networks as the example over there. You walk into the studio, you're like, okay, Donna, I want to do a video. What do I do? Well, where are you at? What are you starting with? You need to become a better speaker. You want to be clearer on it. You can do a couple of different things. Are we going to be impromptu speaking? In other words, non-scripted? Or are we going to be scripted? If you're going to be scripted, write it, rewrite it, have somebody look at it, edit it. Remember, you're writing to be read, not writing to be, you're writing to be said, not writing to be read. Yeah, there's a difference there too. You can quote me on that one. I've gotten bios that was so beautiful with all the schools, the colleges, the universities, the degrees, the syllables, the amount of syllables that got tossed into one sentence. Incredible. Where do you breathe? What do you mean, where do you breathe? Yeah, go read. Take this as a little exercise, especially if you're thinking about doing voiceovers. Go read some of these bios where these folks went to universities. They were on the board of directors of these organizations. They have these titles that just go on and on and on and on. Read some of those things out loud, record it. You don't have to go live, just record it. And then you can see you're struggling to go find a place where you could take a breath to get the whole sentence out. It needs to be broken up differently rather than if you're just reading it silently to yourself. Definitely is a difference there. So you need to understand, if you can do a podcast, you need to get that together too. Understand that you are writing something to be said, not just read. Got to leave place for someone to breathe. There was a gentleman that was daughter got married, and he wrote the speech. He was giving the speech for the whole thing. I was like, and that's what I told him. I was like, and it wasn't so much about multiple syllables and stuff like that, but it was a matter of Where does he breathe? Where does he allow for the emotional impact of that statement to filter into it? He was writing something to be said, not just read. He could have handed it out to everybody. It doesn't matter as much where you breathe. You just, you know, breathe. Everybody reads at their own pace. But if you want to say something and say something spectacular, where people understand it, yeah, afternoon, Carrie, where people will be impacted by it, and where you can breathe if you're the one saying it, is the difference in writing that. So you got to get that resource together, right? You want to know how you look on camera? Take a photo. Do that. Go take a look to see what it is. But understand that you got to take into account what's behind you and how that impacts you. I think it was Asia Lee took a photo. She's wearing a very colorful dress and she's surrounded by very colorful paintings. It's a very busy photo, but it's a beautifully structured photo because all the colors all blend in. And you can see what's the most important thing in that. From my perspective, it was how blended the whole photo was. If she was looking to highlight herself, I don't think that one hit the mark because it was all those colors blending in. If you're doing a video, a YouTube video, or a commercial, or it's on TV or something like that, and you are sharing your expertise, you don't want to blend into the background. You want to be the central focus of it. If you got a guest on, you got to make sure the guest does the same thing. So you got to find the resources for it, and make it work that way. Hey, Carrie, it's nice that you jumped in over there. Carrie takes photos. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're taking a photo, well, what is the main purpose? What is the main focus of that photo? If you're doing a podcast, you're doing a YouTube video, what is the main focus of it? If you're doing only audio, then it's different. Now, all of a sudden, that voice better be proper. The language, the structure of the sentences better be proper and easily understood, because what you lose by doing just audio is you lose the body language portion of it. If I want to get some point across to you that's more important than others, I'll move forward. Listen, it's very important that you know, as opposed to something that's a little less important. Definitely want to find the right place for you to do it, and make sure that your sentence structure is proper. What's more important? When I move forward, it's more important than when I move back. If we're doing a live video, a live performance, so you're on stage someplace, same thing. Back of the stage is less important than the front of the stage. Right side of the stage tends to have more importance than the left side of the stage. Who came up with that one? I have no idea. Somebody did a study someplace, somewhere. I don't know. Front and back, fully get. I understand that, but front, side to side, I don't know. Maybe some linguist wordsmith, worked that one. There we go. Hey guys, I just got a message over here from Lance Miller. He's not watching this, but an email. Yeah, he's one of those professional speakers. He would be a person to ask. Darren LaCroix would be a person to ask. Patricia Fripp. And if you don't know these names and you're going to get all in on the speaking side of things, you definitely want to get to know these people. Patricia Fripp. Let's just talk about her for a little bit. So they're all coaches and they're all motivational speakers. So whatever you need on the speaking side of things, is there. And they got the websites and resources, and they give away resources. All that stuff is there. Lance Miller, Patricia Fripp, and Darren LaCroix. Patricia Fripp, let's just take her for example. She is a member of the NSA, National Speakers Association, won all kinds of awards, top of the game, and all the rest of that stuff. Got involved with Toastmasters, explained the difference between the two, all well and good, all great. Professional speaker, gets paid to speak all over the world and coach people all over the world. And that's her background. That's her credibility. I can go on and on and on. I don't have her bio in front of me, but I'm sure her bio is written to be said, not just read. But here's the most fascinating thing about being all in. Patricia Fripp, she's all accomplished. She's got all of this stuff going on. You mean to tell me that she took lessons from somebody in stage presence? Wait, didn't I just tell you what stage presence is? And she's an accomplished speaker. Why would you do that? Why would she knows that the front of the stage is more important than the back of the stage. Without a doubt. You speak to anybody that that is a professional speaker, they'll tell you that. I mean, that's, basic 101. Right side, left side again. Pretty basic stuff in there. As it goes. She knows that. Yet, not too long ago, and this is after she's accomplished everything, she went and took lessons from an actor as to how to use the stage. That's all it. Because she knew deep down inside, even if the rest of us didn't see it, and we'd never even think to see it, that she wanted to improve upon herself, but she needed outside help to do that. That really came apparent to me. It was a Toastmaster speech I gave. Toastmaster speech. And a lot of times I give a speech, I'm animated, I use my hands, I use the stage. This is when we're doing it, in person, right? I use the stage. I don't tie myself to the lectern, that kind of thing. That's not it. I use the full presence of the whole thing, the podium, however big it is, try to do that, the front, the back, the rest of it. But the feedback I got back from this gentleman who happened to be a dancer, Mr. Fencer, good to see you, who happens to be a dancer. He told me that the beginning of my speech was boring. It looked like I was disinterested. I was like, really? How could you say that, man? I used the stage. I did the hand gestures. I did the vocal variety. I did all of that stuff. I was like, wow. And it was painful for me to sit there and just listen to it because I was like, I didn't get it at all. And then afterwards, I went up there and was like, I don't understand how you could say that. Yeah, I used the stage. Because when you were standing on the side waiting to be introduced, you were just standing there. It looked like you were bored. I was like, well, but I was standing on the side over there waiting to be introduced. I wasn't bored. I was kind of going through my mind what points I wanted to make and things like that. But no, I was not bored. He said, but I saw you and you looked bored. Customer's always right. Customer's always right. He's right. He saw me. I was on stage when he saw me, not when I was physically on that stage, on that podium area. And when I was waiting on the wings and he saw me, I was on stage according to him. Remember, he's a dancer. So his point of view is that as soon as you are seen, you're on stage. He comes out from behind the curtain. He's on stage. He's behind the curtain. I was not behind the curtain. If I was behind the curtain, then my body language was fine. But I wasn't. Let's go back to Patricia Fripp. Let's go back to you on the all-in kind of things. People see you all the time. All the time. They see you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok now. That's you. You're on stage all the time. So Patricia Fripp got it. She understood that. So she hired somebody to help her out with her stage presence. Not the speech, nothing like that. No content, nothing. Not even know what she was wearing and things like that. She's gone out and she got whatever feedback she needed to get from people, on that. Make sure she was wearing appropriate clothing, and it's appropriate clothing to your audience. And different audiences in different countries have different ways of looking at what's appropriate. So you really need to take that into account. She went and she did all of that research. Another person I know is a New York woman. She was giving a presentation in a Muslim country. So she wanted to know. She's like, well, she wears sleeved dresses, but sometimes she wears the sleeves, where it cuts out. You can see the top of the shoulders. She's, oh, no. You can't do that. It needs to be fully covered. Now, if it's not, we can talk about the inappropriateness or not or whatever, but it becomes a distraction. Using that stage improperly becomes a distraction, whether you as an audience member knows it or not. So she went all in to go find that out. The woman that was giving the presentation in a Muslim-oriented country, a more conservative country, she went all in to go find it all out, to find out what she'd done, did not know. Patricia did the same thing. She wanted to find out from somebody with a third party perspective what she did not know, did not think of, and she was getting feedback from somebody that was not a speaker. She was getting feedback from somebody that was outside the normal realm of the folks that she gets feedback from. That's important. Now, do we do that? Are we all in to get feedback from a number of different places? I can tell you, I don't think I am. I don't think I get feedback from enough different places when it comes to the different things I talk about. And I like to get involved with a whole bunch of different activities across the board, right? I got involved with the drag racing. What do I know about drag racing? Not much. Shh, don't tell anybody. Not much. I never built a car. My idea of working on an engine, was turning as a little knob in there to let more air through the carburetor. Well, there's no more carburetors. The cars I drive, there's no more carburetors, all fuel injection, whatever. I open up the hood, it's only to clean the leaves out of it where the grates are, underneath the windshield wipers. And I'm like, oh, that's an engine. That's the extent of it. How am I supposed to comment? How am I supposed to announce the drag racing out there when all I know is, hey, that car is clean, doesn't have any leaves under the engine? Big freaking deal. That's crazy. So am I all in getting the information? Getting better at it. That is something I'm definitely working on. So I attended a presentation, an online, so much as a class. It was an online Zoom meeting about how to become a better announcer if you're announcing drag racing. Wow, cool, man. Sponsored by the NHRA, man. I was in on that one. Came up with a number of different ideas. And the question is, do I follow through on it? Do I follow through on it? If I really, really do, I'm all in. That's what I really need to do for that one. Doing a podcast, doing these things, right? Talk about this and promoting it more and more. Am I all in on it? There's a lot of things I can do. I've had a lot of little individual conversations. Can I do more? The answer is yes. And I'm sharing this with you in this world of full disclosure. Full disclosure, right? I want you to be as authentic as you could possibly be. I am trying to be as authentic as I possibly can be. I've been authentic on this set and the rest of that stuff. I'm doing this thing from home, not from some fancy studio. Why am I doing it? Time. I'd love to go over to Donna's studio and tape over there at her studio. It would be great, professional studio. 3 cameras, teleprompter. This way I can introduce people. I get a producer. There's no more looking over here to go move something around. Producer. Can we still do it live? Absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be great to go and do that stuff. Also looking at the idea of a podcast, a true podcast. Can I do it? Yeah, absolutely. We got the podcasting through brand telling. We do the podcasting service over there. You do podcast and be on all those platforms that I couldn't even tell you the names of. So I'm not all in on that stuff. And how can you be all in on everything? I don't know. But it depends on how dedicated you are. It really depends. So here's the thinking, here's the thought, here's the comments on all this stuff. It's like, what are you doing? And maybe this is the time to make that list again. What are you doing? Money is definitely an issue, Doug, but there's also different ways to get around money on that. Look, I go to Donna's studio, it costs money. All right, going back to it's her, she's got a business she's running there, renting out the studio. So there's the cost of that, there's the cost of the producer, there's the cost of editing. There's a cost. It's fine. And it's fine that it does cost money. That is fine. The question is, how do you deal with the money issue of it? Look, I can tell you on my side, how do I deal with the money issue? So it's money and time. All right. My side of it's time too. If I do tape at the studio, it's time. I have to go there as opposed to just turning I turn the camera. Take the camera. I'm leaning against the wall with the camera. I stand it up. I shoot back over here. Boom. Takes me 2.5 minutes, and literally sometimes it's 2 minutes, not even one. You notice I play the music a little bit longer every once in a while. It's like getting things set up. So it's like 2 minutes to do, as opposed to getting in the car, driving there, going there, and then making sure everything will dressed properly and the rest of it, and talking to the producer what I need to do. So I mean, it's a lot more time involved, in that one. So we've got to carve out hours per day, and I wouldn't do it each day too. So time is an issue. The other side of it though is the money. So the money, Doug, what about the money? Just write a check. All right, look, if we got money, we could just write a check to do it. That's great. If we need somebody else to pay for it, all right, now all of a sudden that's easy enough, or maybe it's a challenge to do, but you do it. So you get sponsors or advertisers. Well, now you got to spend the time and energy getting sponsors and advertisers, and then you change the show around a little bit. So does it make sense to do that? Is that in line with what you're trying to accomplish? Look, the other side of it too is that Donna's got the built-in audience, and she's got the platform where it goes out all over the place. It's like all of a sudden, you go from who knows who's listening to thousands of people, tens of thousands, or 100,000, or maybe even more people that are listening. What's the most important issue? And I think, Doug, that's really the question. It's not so matter of what is the issue, but what is the most important thing that you want to accomplish? And then what are those hurdles, money, time, energy, that we need to deal with? And that's really, I think, where it comes down to. So here's the actionable idea for the day. If I did this on a weekly basis, we'd have a week to work on these things. Now it's a day, but maybe that's a thought process too. It's like, what are we doing? What am I doing? What are you doing where you're spending your time, and how important is it? How important is it to do? I'll throw out another name over here, Margaret Marshall. I gotta get one of Margaret's books. We'll put Margaret's books over there. She talks about food, eating properly, and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into the food aspect of it, but what she did tell me is that if you're going to eat, you should only eat your 8, 9s, and 10s. I was like, oh, what the hell does that mean? I was like, size? No, no, no. 8, 9s is only eat those things that you truly enjoy eating. You got to eat moderation. All the rest of it goes along with it. This is not a free pass to go eat anything you want, right? Oh, I love chocolate cake. Oh, that's a 10. I'm just going to eat chocolate cake. That's not the point of it. The point of it is that if you're going to eat calories, or if you're going to eat food, eat the stuff you enjoy eating. Eat it in moderation, eat it balanced, eat it, the rest of that stuff that goes along with it. But if you're going to do something, do what you really, truly enjoy eating. If you're going to do projects, do what you really, truly enjoy, what you get the most out of. You can define enjoy. But those 8, 9s, and 10s, not I do it because I do it. That might be a waste of time. 8, 9s, and 10s things. Think about that. So maybe that's the easy list. Make that list of everything that you do, Then categorize it, 8, 9, 10. And you know what? Even taking a nap is like really important. It makes you feel good, makes you more energized. Hey, maybe that's up on the list there. Maybe that's up on the list. All right, so that's it. Are you all in? And how do you define it? How do you get there? How do you work toward that? Make it the stuff that really matters to you. And then go all in. And get opinions from people that are outside that circle of, hey, yeah, you do a great job, love what you do. That only goes so far. Get other opinions from people that don't necessarily know you, or that look at things differently. I know. I am going to introduce myself to some of those tech people out at the races. This way I get a chance to know something beyond, hey, there's no leaves in that engine compartment. Got to learn something a little bit more to help me become better at that. I even got a little board over here. Maybe we'll work on that one tomorrow and share a little bit of insight with you in that full disclosure land of how we become better speakers. So remember, when you're out there, do what you do best, my friends. Speak well, speak often, and live inspired. You just might inspire somebody else to do exactly the same thing. And happy birthday to my mother-in-law today. All right, folks, have a great time. Have a great day. Carrie, Karen, great for joining. Michael, Doug, and the rest of the team. It's like Romper Room. We got to get the Romper Room. Woo, Romper Room people. You're the tomato people now. All right, there we go. Keep on advancing, my friends. All right, what do you think? Little music? Let's get the rock music going on over here, and we're going to end it with that one. Bring the tomato back.